Yemen's Houthis have said they'll carry on attacking ships in the Red Sea to protest against Israel's bombardment of Gaza, despite a U.S. decision to return them to the list of global terrorist organizations. The group's leadership has condemned Washington's move, describing it as an act of blackmail. A U.S. official said the redesignation on the Specially Designated Global Terrorist List, or SDGT, would take effect in 30 days to allow time to ensure the measures will target Houthi members, and not the impoverished people of Yemen. The U.S. stopped short of also declaring the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization, or F2. The State Department spokesman explained, "We decided that the SDGT designation gave us the tools to deny the Houthi access to the financial system and gave us the tools to impose additional actions, additional sanctions on anyone who does business with the Houthis, while minimizing some of the downstream harm to Yemeni civilians and the deterrent effect that we thought the FTO designation would have on aid groups." Well, just before we move on, let's just take a look at who the Houthis are. They're a political and military group from a subsect of the country's Shia Muslim minority, the Zedis. They control a large part of Yemen, and most of the population lives in Houthi areas, including in the capital, Sana'a. Their control of the Red Sea coastline makes attacks on commercial shipping possible. The movement formed in the 1990s against the then Yemeni president Ali Abdullah Saleh. In the early 2000s, they fought a series of rebellions against Yemen's government. President Saleh tried to eliminate the Houthi rebels, but failed. Since 2014, the Houthi movement has been fighting a civil war against Yemen's government. Iran is accused of supplying weapons to the Houthis, something it denies, saying it only supports them politically. Let's go live now to our correspondent Tom Bateman, who is our State Department correspondent in Washington. He was also our Middle East correspondent up until a very short time ago. Tom, hi, good to see you there in Washington. So just explain to us the State Department's decision here on the Houthis and what it will mean. Well, what they've done is to redesignate effectively the Houthis as a terrorist organization. But it's not as straightforward as them just putting them on a list, because what you heard there from Matthew Miller, the spokesman, was the kind of designation that they are using now. Without getting lost in the weeds of a jumble of letters, he mentioned the type that this is. There are effectively two forms of designation. One is a bit tougher than the other. Now, under the Trump administration in its dying days, President Trump designated the Houthis as a terrorist organization under both of those lists. One of them effectively means there can be criminal sanctions. It would be a crime to provide material support to the Houthis. So that's obviously a massive